Alrighty, happy Tuesday, everybody. Coach Aaron here, and today I'm going to be coming at you with a drink that actually makes people live longer. If you drink the right amount of this, statistically, people live 5 years longer, and you're less likely to kill people. All right. So some of you probably will guess what it is, but stick with me until the end. All right. Okay. So this magic elixir improves glucose tolerance. It reduces your risk of type 2 diabetes. It does not cause osteoporosis, which is something people have been told that it does. Uh, Consumers live longer, like I mentioned, up to 5 years. It is the best antioxidant source that is commonly consumed here in America. It improves your cardiovascular risk by 53%, 60% lower prostate cancer death risk in men, 100% lower in women. Women who drink this regularly tend to become are less likely to be depressed and also less likely to have a stroke. It promotes or produces the same kind of mental state as qigong, so some of the Eastern meditative type exercise. It improves short-term memory, 29% lower risk of liver cancer, 60% lower risk of Alzheimer's, and 50% lower risk of Parkinson's.
Okay. I found this on the web for
Nobody asked you, Siri. Lowers your risk of gallstones, 26% lower risk of colon cancer, improves exercise performance, and also helps you burn more fat. All right. If you've got to guess what it is, go ahead, put it in the comment section down below real quick. I'm going to give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All righty. It is coffee, the wonderful drink. All right. Water is the elixir of life because without water, we can't make coffee. All right. So going into this, of course, the poison is in the dose. And a lot of people have been told coffee is bad for you, but is it actually true? Provided you're not having too much, actually, coffee is not bad for you. The average American actually consumes about 135 milligrams of caffeine per day, which, in my opinion, those are rookie numbers. We got to get those numbers up. All right. One single cup of coffee, which is about 80 to 100 milligrams, depending on how you actually make the coffee, how it's brewed, how much, like how the coffee is actually made. But 1 cup of coffee reduces overall risk of mortality, meaning risk of dying from anything, by 8%. And 7 cups of coffee actually reduces mortality by up to 16%. All right. So the magic number I've seen is about 6 cups of coffee per day increases life expectancy by 5 years. All right. Now, and as far as upper limit of caffeine, what's generally recognized as safe, meaning doesn't cause problems for the majority of people, is 400 milligrams of coffee per day, which if you've got coffee on the 80 milligram side, then maybe you're getting 5 cups of regular coffee and 1 cup of decaf. All right. So that's how that can work out. Now, here's a common question. Is it the coffee or is it the caffeine? Meaning if you only drank, say, 6 cups of decaf coffee, would you get all of the benefits? And actually, some of these benefits come from caffeine specifically. A lot of the fat burning benefits of coffee actually come from the caffeine itself. A lot of the exercise performance benefits of coffee actually come from the caffeine itself directly. So you could get that from alternative source, although I'm not going to tell you Red Bull's a good idea. Again, it can be perfectly fine to use some caffeine sources to make up some of your caffeine intake, like, again, a healthy, reasonable dosed pre-workout. But also some of these benefits come strictly from the coffee itself and can be received just with even decaf coffee. All right. So it's kind of a mix. It's not one or the other. It's a bit of both. All right. Common question I get: when should you stop drinking caffeine? Now, for people who metabolize caffeine normally or quickly, I metabolize it quickly personally, so I always feel like I need more. Stopping your caffeine intake by roughly 2 p.m. is a really good idea. So actually right about now, if you live in the Eastern time zone where I live. All right. So, okay, no more caffeine for the rest of the day. That gives you, for most people, about 8 hours for the caffeine to work its way out of your system so that it doesn't have a negative effect on sleep. And I will say this. I used to be one of those people who thought, oh, caffeine doesn't affect my sleep, till I backed it away. I stopped having so much caffeine later in the day. And then I did have coffee one night, and I could not sleep well. And I didn't realize the effect that it was having because of just what I was used to doing. And so I know there are a lot of people who think like, I can drink a cup of coffee and go to sleep. Yeah, you probably can, but you're not getting very good sleep and you probably don't realize it. All right. So I would encourage you 2 p.m. or earlier, cut it off. All right. So if you're going to have coffee after that, decaf. All right. What should you avoid putting, or what do I avoid putting in my coffee? I try to avoid, 95 times out of 100, putting any sugar in my coffee. Occasionally you have a treat, but sugar plus caffeine actually tends to have a very negative effect on body fat, putting those two things together. So caffeine does raise cortisol, which raises blood sugar. When you add additional sugar to that, that's not a good thing. All right. So usually avoiding sugar and any and all creamer. Now, I'm not saying cream, but creamers are typically like some sort of weird oil blends, and it's actually not a very natural or healthy thing to add to your coffee, or honestly to have in general. So I do, if I'm out and about, depending on where I am and what I'm seeing, sometimes I'll just have the coffee black because I don't trust the things that they have around, that they have to add to it. If I'm at places where they have either half and half or heavy cream, that is my preference, is I'll pick half and half or heavy cream. Little goes a long way. Okay. So if you're used to using milk in your coffee, just a little bit of heavy cream, you'll get a significantly better flavor with fewer calories. All right. So heavy cream, little goes a long way. Half and half will do if they don't have heavy cream available. Heavy cream is always my first pick. All right. Heavy cream, heavy whipping cream, whatever it might be called in your refrigerator. And then if I do want some sort of sweetener, first off, here's the thing. Most of the time, whenever people are looking to sweeten their coffee, it's because they're probably consuming poor quality coffee. A lot of coffee in their initial roasting phase, they actually burn it. And so it gets more bitter or burnt than it should. And people are trying to counteract that flavor with the sugar. All right. So you get higher quality coffee, you actually don't need sugar as much or any kind of sweetener. But if you do want some sort of sweetener, I highly encourage you to look into monk fruit. It works significantly better. It sweetens it. It actually doesn't give it a whole lot of sweet, but it also satiates that sweet desire that people may have. All right. So that's usually what I put in. I will, and I have in the past, but I haven't done it a whole lot lately, though I'm not opposed to it. Bulletproof coffee, where you're adding MCT oil and butter, can work as part of a diet, provided you actually factored into everything else that you're doing. Just adding tons of fat to your coffee, if all of a sudden you're adding 300 extra calories to your coffee on top of what you're doing right now, that's 300 extra calories to your day, and those calories are going to go somewhere. Either they're going to go to work or they're going to go to your waistline, even if they're healthier calories. Too many calories cause problems in general. All right. So again, that's what I do put in my coffee and what I avoid putting in my coffee. So now here's something sometimes people run into. Maybe you had coffee a little bit late, or somehow you ended up with more caffeine than you intended to have. Maybe I've done this before where I'm on a road trip and I'm driving in and I need the caffeine to keep me awake because staying alive is a good thing. How do you actually come down from caffeine stimulation or overstimulation? I personally find two things work really well for me. First is magnesium. The reason is magnesium, as the mineral, actually helps to remove the adrenaline from the adrenaline receptor site. So it actually makes the adrenaline stop doing what it's doing, which when you're done with it is a really good thing. And the second thing is glycine. So glycine is amino acid. It's part of protein, but in isolation, it can bring up serotonin, which will bring down cortisol. And so that's often why a lot of people will crave sugary foods when they're stressed, because their body's trying to find a way to come down from the stress and trying to bring cortisol down. And sugar or carbohydrate-based foods tend to raise serotonin, which brings down cortisol. All right. So by giving yourself just a little bit of magnesium, a little bit of glycine, it can help bring the cortisol and the adrenaline down so your body can relax and come down from the caffeine. And, you can either just return to normal if you're feeling like you got a little too much or a little jittery, or it can actually help with sleep if that's what you're dealing with. Another supplement that can sometimes work is something called L-theanine. Theanine is an amino acid, comes from green tea, and it's a very good balancer for many different things, particularly overstimulation. So that's what I've got for you today. I hope that was helpful. If you have any coffee-related questions or any questions related to any of these things, please feel free to post them in the comments down below. I also would like to make a quick announcement. I should have said this at the beginning, but I'm going to be doing a stress and a cortisol masterclass for men, explaining how excessive cortisol causes problems and simple solutions that you can use to start balancing out cortisol and stress so that you can sleep better, have better energy, be productive during the day, and also end up being healthier, fitter, and leaner at the same time. So if you're interested in that, let me know. I'll let you know where that's going to be. That's going to be in a private group. So I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will see you next time.